And welcome. I know you're one of our regular virtual program goers, so we appreciate your support.
Thank you everybody so much for joining us. We are streaming on Facebook, YouTube, and Crowdcast. We do a digital demo every Tuesday and Thursday at 3 p.m. And first of all, we just want to thank all of those people who have been supporting us throughout the closure. Your attendance has really inspired us as we've been doing a different style of programming and trying to bring things to you virtually. So once again, today's digital demo today we'll focus on Freegal, which gives us the ability to download music and the occasional audiobook. My colleague here, Nick, is a huge fan of Freegal and uses it at home all the time. So Nick, can you give us a little bit of information about why Freegal is important and possibly who it might benefit?
Sure. So I've been a longtime Freegal user, both with PGCMLS and other libraries, and it's a really great alternative to the paid streaming music services that are out there, whether that's Spotify, Apple Music, or anything else. There is really comparable. Excuse me for one second. I'm going to clear my throat. Sorry about that. There's really comparable music availability in here. If you think about Spotify, it's got a lot of new releases. It's got pop artists, country, classical, everyone under the sun. Freegal is really right on par with that in terms of the availability of music. And what's special about it is that you can download songs to keep as well as do unlimited streaming. So it is a great way to save some money if you're really into streaming music. And it's also a great alternative to existing streaming platforms if you're a music nut like I am. I'm a musician. I have multiple music streaming platforms, and there's slight variations between the catalogs or the availability across each one. So oftentimes, if I'm not able to find something in a Spotify, I can look in Freegal and it might be there.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So what I want to do first of all is show you what the Freegal interface looks like. It's very simple, very easy to use. Logging in is a cinch. Some of our online resources, you have to provide email accounts. You have to create your own account. This one is very easy and simple, and I'll show you that in just a second. But before I show you Freegal, it's important to understand how to find Freegal on our website. So here's our website, pgcmls.info. And if you come right down here into our online library, we've got a couple different places where you can access our resources. Now we have over 85 resources. Our number one portal is our online resources page. So I'm going to take you there first and just give you a very basic tour of our online resources page. Like I said, we have 85 of them. It is a beast. So I'm going to go back up to the top, and we can either search alphabetically or by category. So we have these nice little fancy categories here. And for Freegal, we would be going into the entertainment category. All right, please check out all of the offerings that we have there. Freegal Music download 5 free songs per week from a library of millions, and you can actually stream it unlimited. So we have just increased our streaming limits. It used to be 3 hours a day. Now you can stream 24 hours a day if you would like. So in addition to this online resources page, we also have what we are calling our support suites, which are brand new, and it's a new feature that we've added since the closure. So because we have 85 resources, we've kind of just tried to make them a little bit more digestible for the general public. So we have the creative suite, where you can have some opportunities to create and extend the learning from anywhere. We've got our digital suite, which we'll be going into today, and this will give you access to ebooks, audiobooks, comics through Comics Plus, video through Canopy, and music through Freegal. We've also got our Discovery suite, which will include Ancestry Library Edition, which is brand new access from home. Used to only be available from our libraries. And then for the students and anybody else who this could benefit, we've got our homework support suite. So without further ado, I will launch right into our digital suite. And our top 6 digital offerings are Overdrive and Libby, RB Digital, Comics Plus, Canopy, Freegal, and Hoopla. We have successfully completed a digital demo now on all of these 6 resources Freegal was the last one. So let's go ahead and go into Freegal. And please be aware you can access some help videos here, and there is an Apple and Android app available as well. So when you click on that link, it will take you right here. And the first step with any resource is to log in. You can also, this is a test PGCPS, it's a student link card. So this is accessible for Prince George's County students as well as virtual cards and general cards. You will have to put in your PIN number, which, by the way, your PIN number is by default set to the last 4 digits of your phone number that we have on file for you. Now, there is an email notification. You do not have to do it. I chose not to do it, and I've clicked on do not show this message again. You do have to click submit, or else this will come back every time you log in.
If you're someone who wants to build up your own library of downloaded audio files, I really recommend the email notices because it helps remind me, that I have the 5 available download credits each week. So once a week I get that email notice, and if I want to go on and keep downloading music, I can do that to build my own library. I'm a fan, as you can tell, of physical music. These are all CDs behind me here. So multiple copies and multiple formats is the name of the game for me, and it's a great option in Freegal.
Nick's a media person. Okay, so top level on this website, it shows you how many downloads you have remaining. And like Nick said, email notifications are great. You have 5 every week, and you have an unlimited amount of streaming, which has been upgraded. So if you hit these top 3 buttons, it will give you some information like your notifications, some support. You'll be able to read the terms and conditions, things like that. The FAQ would be kind of a nice place to go for questions. You're always welcome to email the library as well, but you might be able to get some of those questions more quickly answered through the Freegal FAQ. So again, you access the FAQ right here in this little triple dot right there. All right, I'm going to go back to the home. There we go. And Nick is actually going to share his screen, and he's going to walk us through Freegal. So I'm going to turn my screen off. Okay,
it's going to take me 1 second. Cool.
Okay. All right.
So welcome to Freegal again, and thanks, Steve, for having me on. I am going to go ahead and do the login. I have my login credentials saved on my browser, so it's super easy. I don't have to remember my card number or my PIN. Please don't use my card number for those of you who are watching this. You can't get into anything for the most part without the PIN anyways. Then I just hit login, and then in theory that will log in. Yep. Okay. Yep. So this is the interface for Freegal that you just saw. It's pretty basic and user-friendly. It's not as complex or nuanced as something like a Spotify or Apple Music or Google Play, but it does the trick, especially if you want to discover new music. That's where I think this is really great because it's set up to really discover music either by playlists or by individual albums or artists. So just some basics on the homepage here. There's always featured playlists up top, and as you can tell, there's some thematic things for right now in May. Mother's Day is coming up. Some oldies that at this point, 80s and 90s were old, but it's all good. There's something in here for everyone. I think there's some over 200 different genres represented. And as you can see, there are libraries that make their own playlists, great classic recordings, mixtapes, poetry, a yacht rock playlist. Who knew? But someone needed that. March Madness, all kinds of cool stuff.
Yeah, the playlist feature is really cool because you're going to see some stuff that you would have never thought of before. And who creates these? So it's great. It's kind of nice to see a community of people on here.
Definitely. And so when I come in here, if I'm looking for something specific, which I typically am when I use this, I will go into the search at the top. And for example, I'm going to look up the let's look up West Side Story, which is a famous Broadway musical and film, music by Leonard Bernstein. So you can see on here there are 2 recordings available, actually 3. This is not one of the kind of usual recordings, though. Let's see what it says in there. Let's go back. This is the original Broadway cast recording. Then you'll see also when you click into an album that the artist related recordings might be displayed here, and then this will be the actual track listing, and you can hit view all. You can change how you're sorting it. For example, if you wanted to download a song, you would just hit download right here, the right arrow. And remember, you have 5 per week. And you just go ahead. It's super easy. It downloads to your computer, your device, if you're doing it on mobile. And the file is yours to keep. Please note that when you download something, you are then responsible for the copyright of it. So don't start using it illegally for your own sake. It's very important to respect the creator's rights with this. But it's great that you can download it for free. This is a huge cost savings. So if you wanted to play, my audio won't get shared right now, but I think, can you see the player on the bottom, Steve?
Yep, we can.
Okay, great. So this is the display here for playing it in the web browser. It's pretty easy, basic audio controls. If you want to have the track repeat, you can do that. If you want to shuffle between different tracks, you can do that too. If you want to select everything for some reason, you can do that. So it's pretty basic. It's intuitive based on using audio streaming platforms. You can add a track to a wish list. So for example, say I wanted to download the full West Side Story album, but I can only do it 5 per week, right? So I can add the other tracks that I still need to download onto a wish list just by clicking onto the star. And then I can go into the wish list next week, clicking on wish list up here, and those tracks are saved that I'm going to go ahead and download. Let's go back. Another feature that you can do is create a playlist, which is cool. So I'm going to create PGCMLS show tunes, all the Broadway, 24/7. Okay, let's create that. And then if I wanted to add something else to that playlist, I'd click that, and then I would select that playlist, and it would presumably go over to the playlist. Let's see if we can find that playlist.
Yes, how quick does it refresh, I wonder?
I don't know. Let's see. I wonder if it makes it public. That is a good question for future session. If you as a user create a playlist, if it makes it public.
Or maybe if you have the option to make it a private or a public. It hasn't come up yet, it looks like.
So to show you examples of the range of the music in here, if you're a classical music person, you could do something. Oh, let's think about Star Wars. So Star Wars Day was yesterday. And there are a ton of albums that have Star Wars music on it. Now, one of the advantages of this platform is that you might find some really quirky things that you wouldn't necessarily come across in a Spotify. So in here, you see a bunch of different playlists that are Star Wars themed, a bunch of different recordings. This one I found yesterday was hilarious. It is literally like the lullaby songs for babies of the Star Wars tunes, and I forget what they're called, but the things that you put over the crib that might like twirl and play music for babies. It's the music for that, but Star Wars. So if you are a parent who is a Star Wars nut who has a new baby, the library is here for you and your baby. It's pretty remarkable. You can also find things like Britney Spears. Got a lot of her music on here. Classic. Oops, I did it again.
Is that now a classic?
Well,
it is. It is. Years old.
Yep. And she burned down her gym at her house this week. Don't try that at home.
Oh no.
Whitney Houston. Let's see. Whitney Houston's here. Boys to Men. Let's see what else. Boys to Men. Now, sometimes you'll see that. Oh, that's not the one that I should click on. Up on the roof.
There's a question from Vivian. How do I look up magazines and books? So magazines, we would want to kind of target you to some of our other resources and books as well. Freegal would be specifically for music and select audiobooks.
Yeah. So here are the audiobooks in Freegal. This is a feature that I've never really used, just because I stick to Libby for audiobooks, but there are some interesting random things in here that are going to be more along the lines of like radio broadcast type things that are captured as recordings. So here you can see there's a biography of JFK, for example. The way that the content is selected for an e-resource like this is the company Freegal does licensing agreements with different record labels. So the selection on here will be kind of a result of that. So it's worth exploring, though. There are a ton of things on here clearly in terms of ebooks. So for those who are power ebook users, recommend adding this to your kind of spots to check for content. So just coming back up here to the top, let's look up some other. Who's an artist that you listen to a lot, Steve?
Let's put let's put Boys to Men on there just for fun, Nick.
Oh yeah, there we go. So this is an important thing for parents. Please monitor your minor's use of e-resources, because you can see on here there are some songs with explicit lyrics. They are very clearly marked, but you will want to monitor your minor's use of these things just as you would with Spotify. It's the same kind of deal. Anything that has explicit lyrics will be clearly identified as such, and then it's really on the user end that the parents need to make sure that it's being monitored. But there's a bunch of their albums here that you can see, a lot of songs. So with this platform, you'll notice that sometimes with a very popular artist like Boyz II Men, their entire recording catalog is not here. It's usually a selection of it. So this is not in any way comprehensive, but it's a good representation of a lot of different genres. And let's look up Garth Brooks. Here's an example, Garth Brooks. This is clearly not all of his music, but there are a bunch of albums here, tribute albums, covers. Here you go, a recording of piano renditions of Garth Brooks songs. Things you didn't know might exist, but they do. Country Christmas, salute to Garth Brooks. Lullaby renditions of Garth Brooks. So there's definitely stuff on here for the whole family. Let's look up another artist. Let's do Cher. Everyone loves Cher. Or find Cher amusing. Cher has some new music coming out too, which is kind of funny. Really? Yeah. Let's see here. So you can see some of her albums and other albums where she is featured, and then playlists where she is featured. The one recommendation I have for folks is if you are someone who uses music a lot, I recommend the mobile version of this platform, Freegal. It's a bit more user-friendly in terms of the listening experience, but if you want to do the heavy downloading, I would recommend a mix of either the mobile app or the website. This is an example of a recent classical recording, so you can see that there are recordings up to those that have been released this year on here from major labels like Sony, and this is a new recording of Stravinsky with the London Symphony, which is great.
There was a question that came in that I'm looking into the answer, but I'm not for sure. If you save a song, if you save it on your mobile, if you save a song, can you set it as a ringtone? Have you done that
as a ringtone? You can do that with an audio file. So you would have to download it. And if you Google, I can probably look it up here, how to make a song your ringtone. Let's see. If you Google this, there are instructions that you can find on the open internet, but basically as long as you download the MP3 file, whether it's from Freegal or anywhere else, you can set that as a ringtone.
Great. And I did not see that specific question, Yolanda, in the FAQ.
Yeah, that kind of thing typically wouldn't be promoted by the platform. That would just be kind of a common knowledge thing that gets put out. Yeah, because for them, the platform they're only licensing for a specific use. So Freegal's responsibility is to provide the recordings to library customers either as streaming or download, and then it's on the user who downloads a file to respect the copyright. Using a song for your own ringtone on your own phone, totally fine. But if Freegal were to offer up specific marketing of like, use our downloads for ringtones, that would get them into a different licensing situation with the record labels.
Thank you.
Yeah. So any other questions on this? You can see there are some really great playlists here. Grammy nominees from 2019. You can see on here. So this is really a great example of showing you that popular music and important music is all in here. This isn't just like sometimes we think with library resources like, oh, well, it's not Netflix. Well, there's a lot of great content in here that is equivalent to any of those commercial streaming platforms. For example, Childish Gambino, "This Is America," which was a major song that came out recently within the last couple of years, is in here and available through Freegal. So don't discount this. This is kind of one of those hacks in life where the library can save you a ton of money if you want to do that, or it can just help you expand your collection of music, which is really great too.
And the fact that there's only 5 downloads a week shouldn't really inhibit a lot of us because we can stream unlimited. So that's a new feature. So hopefully kids at home, everybody can take advantage of a free service that's not Apple Music or something that you have to pay for on a monthly subscription basis.
Definitely. Like I pay for Spotify and it's around $10 a month, so $120 a year for that one platform. And do I really need it? Probably not. I could use this only if I wanted to save that money. So this is definitely a thing about the library and our resources that each resource has the potential to kind of replace something else that you might be using already. And this is your library at its best, making music available that you can download and keep. And compared to a lot of other libraries, we have much higher threshold of access on Freegal. Some libraries limit to 3 downloads a week. Some libraries say no downloads and streaming only. Some libraries will say streaming only for a certain number of hours. So we've really maximized the use of this platform for folks. You can also do advanced search on here too. So if you'd like to look up, for example, if I wanted to look up a very specific recording, let's do Louis Armstrong, "It's a Wonderful World." Oh, looks like that's not in there, which happens sometimes. And let's just look up Louis Armstrong. So it looks like they have a ton of Louis Armstrong, but perhaps not his recording of "It's a Wonderful World."
And it's also recommended to check out the Essentials album. So a lot of artists might have Essentials albums akin to Greatest Hits.
Cool. Any other questions?
Okay, I do not see any other questions either on Crowdcast or Facebook. Thank you everybody so much for joining us on both of these platforms. We definitely appreciate your engagement with us throughout this time. It means the world to us. We will be back again Thursday with another digital demo, and then we'll be back every Tuesday and Thursday, in addition to all of our other virtual events that we've got going on. So please check out our website at pgcmls.info to see what's going on with your library. And thanks again to you all and to all of our staff for joining us throughout this time as well. It's good to see a lot of our fellow PGCMLS staff tuning into these too. So thanks for that. Thanks for your support. It really means a lot.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Steve. Have a good one.
Bye.